What is up, sports geeks? It's your host Josh here, back with another episode today. I'm joined by Landon. Landon's first time on the podcast. Landon, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm super happy to be here, Josh.
This is going to be pretty good here. So it is getting into the era of March Madness, where we see a bunch of hectic stuff go on. However, and we are talking about the hectic stuff, but we are not talking about college basketball. We're talking about the NBA trade deadline, and holy smokes, was it hectic.
I was glued to my phone literally all day. I think my my phone told me I was on Twitter for 5 hours.
I believe it. So I had a class from 2 to 3:20 on Tuesday, and so I'm in class, and I was on Twitter, on Woj's Twitter, just sitting here clicking refresh, because that was the last hour of the trade deadline, and it was just absolutely hectic. So we're going to break down every single trade that happened. Some of them are super small. We're not going to talk for long about those. Believe it or not, there were a couple big ones, though. The first one here, so we did talk about the Kyrie trade in our last episode, which if you haven't watched that, make sure you go tune in. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. So if you haven't watched that one, go check that one out. We're not going to be talking about that trade here because we talked about it there. But we're going to start with the elephant in the room. The Suns land Kevin Durant. So we'll go ahead and run through this. Suns receive Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. The Nets receive Mikal Bridges, however you want to pronounce it. Cam Johnson, some dude I've never heard of in my life. 5 first-round picks, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And a swap.
4 in the swap. 4 first-round picks in the swap, a second-round pick, and then another first-round pick.
Essentially a bunch of 12-year-olds right now.
Yeah. They're looking at the 8th grade class.
Keeping an eye on the middle school.
Yep, you have to. We've seen those jokes with the Thunder a bunch.
Yeah.
That's the Nets now. The Bucks. So this was a 4-team trade. I think this is kind of weird. I didn't really know that it was a 4-team trade. But the Bucks got Jay Crowder out of this. The Pacers got basically every player above the age of 33 on the Bucks roster. George Hill, Serge Ibaka, and then they did get Jordan Nwora. And then the Pacers also got 3 future second-round picks and cash. And so this was crazy. This was a bomb drop that Woj dropped on us, a true Woj bomb. How do you think the Suns here? How do you think they did?
Well, first off, this is probably the most surprised I've been in an NBA interaction since Kevin Durant did the same thing in the Warriors decision back in 2017. But honestly, this makes the Suns title favorites in my opinion.
I think the Celtics are still favorites.
Really?
I don't know why. I think that when your secondary scorer in a game is either Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, depending on the game, right? Like, that's a very, 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 that's the best secondary scorer in the league.
Either are liable to get you 35, 40 on any night, any Wednesday, any Saturday against any team. It's it's terrifying.
It is terrifying. And then also, TJ Warren is not a, that's not like a bench guy.
Not a player to be slept on.
No, not at all. Now they gave up a ton for this. They're in a win now. And you have to win.
Totally gambled their entire future. Mm-hmm. And that can be terrifying because that has worked in some cases, like the Raptors in 2019, and that has not worked like the Nets in 2012.
Now the Nets have recommitted to the rebuild. However, I'm not necessarily sure what's going on in their front office because I did see something that said that the Grizzlies offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, and the Nets declined it. Like, after this trade.
Shocking.
If you're committing to the rebuild, you would accept that in a heartbeat. To give up KD, TJ Warren, and that's it from your roster, right? Because you got Mikal Bridges, and then you give him right back up for 9 first-round picks.
I don't know how you don't do that, especially. They're not in consideration for the title anymore. They're in the hunt for the playoffs. I'd consider them in the hunt for the playoffs.
The Nets?
Yeah.
They're probably going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing.
That defense is terrifying.
The defense is
They're
terrifying.
the most switchable defense in the league now.
Yes. I could even see them giving some people, if they get matched up against the correct team, I could see them giving them fits. Like, if they were to get matched up against, I think, Miami, you got to think, Simmons up against Butler is a very good defensive matchup. Offensively, Simmons is going to do nothing, but... And then Claxton against Adebayo is wonderful.
That's a fun matchup. That's a really fun one.
They're both young, long centers that are not extremely physical, but great, and obviously Claxton, I think he should be the DPOY this year.
Oh,
Brooke Lopez, I think, won that award in the first half of the season, but
he was looking good.
Claxton's, I don't know how you cannot give it to Claxton. He's averaging like 3 blocks a game and like tearing it up. But I don't really understand that from the Nets' perspective why you wouldn't accept that trade from the Grizzlies, but I do think that they could do a little bit of damage in the playoffs. And maybe that's what they think, is we've seen enough out of Mikal Bridges when Booker and Paul were out that we think he could be an elite piece to build around if he gets a bigger role.
Yeah.
But
I saw an interesting rumor. I don't know if it was a rumor or if it was just a fanfic, but that the Nets might go for Trae Young.
Really?
Because, you know, that Atlanta situation is
Oh,
less than desirable for anyone involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen transfer rumors for John Collins literally weekly for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So
it's been pretty bad.
that just struck my eye. I don't know.
Well, I think when they got DeJounte Murray, everyone thought, oh, this is going to solve every problem ever. Well, it didn't solve anything. Like, they were worse this year with DeJounte Murray. I'm not saying he makes them a worse team, but, like, they were worse this year.
There.
Yeah, it's just not a fit at all. You're looking, like, he's a very ball-dominant guard, and Trae Young is a very ball-dominant guard. So they're great by themselves, but
So, I mean, I think the point of getting DeJounte, this is kind of off topic now, but was to hide Trae Young on defense. And, I mean, it's not really working, but I think in a team like the Nets, it might.
Yeah, I
Honestly.
agree. Well, when you have that elite of defenders around them, like you're talking about 4 like all NBA defensive
Potentially,
teams and Trae Young. Like whereas if you look at Atlanta, you have maybe 1 right with I would say probably 1 with DeJounte Murray, but like Capella is not. John Collins definitely is not.
Breathe his name in that same space.
Yeah. But we do get to the Hawks here in a little bit. I don't know how far down this is with the Sadiq Bey one.
We'll get to that.
But overall, do you think the Suns win this trade? If you were to grade this from the Suns' perspective, what would you give them?
It's kind of tough just because, you know, if they win now, it's an A. If they don't win now, it's an F.
Right.
But, I mean, off the bat, you gotta say A. I mean, getting Kevin Durant is an A.
Yeah.
Any team in the league.
If you are able to retain your 3 best players, maybe you could say that Bridges is more impactful than Paul, but I really don't think so.
But he kind of replaced his position. Too.
Yeah, if you can retain your 3 best players and get like a top 5 when healthy player in the league, like that's pretty
playoff proven player.
Yeah, very playoff proven. The dude that was an inch and one shoe size away from probably winning an NBA championship by himself, carrying his team to an NBA championship. So I would agree. I think it's definitely a win. You know, it's hard to tell because, like you said, if you don't win now, it's terrible.
We'll be able to grade in June.
Yeah, but so we'll go ahead and just move down. So the KD trade was huge. The Nets, I think, win out of that as well.
Yep.
They get to completely
one of the better packages they probably could have gotten.
Yeah,
I imagine.
I did see that they really did not. You know, this is going back to the Kyrie trade. They did not want to trade Kyrie to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard what packages the Lakers had and like if it was clearly better than what you would have gotten if you traded him to Dallas.
It was just like a power play from Josiah and that ownership.
Yeah, just saying, hey, screw you guys.
You guys made our life hell for a year. Or 3.
Yeah. But so we'll go ahead and move on to this big trade here. There's a lot of stuff in here that I don't think is really important at all. It is a 4-team trade. Basically, the 76ers get Jalen McDaniels. Great pickup.
Yeah. Swiss Army knife player.
He is. They get 2 second-round picks out of it as well. I think something to think about too is if you're like listening to this thinking a second-round pick is like worthy or has like much worth at all. Jokic was a second-round pick. Draymond Green was a second-round pick, and there's really been not really any other big players that are second-round picks. So, like, I'm not saying second-round picks don't matter. If you were to go look at the last, like, 3 drafts, there's definitely role players.
Serviceable.
But they're not – it's not like the NFL where you see guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th round that are all pros.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see that here. So, so to kind of take that, with a grain of salt, but – so they get 2 second-round picks and Jalen McDaniels. The Hornets, in return, get Svi Mykhailiuk. I'm not even going to try. Svi.
And 2 more second-round picks.
The Blazers, and this is where it gets really interesting here. Blazers get Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, a guy's name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, and then a first-round pick from New York. The Knicks get Josh Hart. I think that the Hornets, I don't know what the Hornets were thinking. I think the Hornets get like a D- from this.
Yeah.
Like you're taking somebody that shouldn't even be playing minutes in the NBA, and you get him, and you're giving up a starter.
Yep.
I don't understand that at all. But
And
maybe they really want Wembanyama.
They're all in on the Wembanyama train.
I guess so. I guess so.
But let's really talk about the Blazers, because I think what they did was super interesting, considering Dame's timeline and just their timeline as a whole.
Yeah.
In what they consider competing
Mhm.
for a championship. But I mean, Thybulle is obviously an amazing defender, and only an amazing defender. He can't shoot a ball. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
No.
But
Until he'll have 2 games a year where he's like 4.
Yeah.
He starts the game 4-4 in the first quarter, and one of them will probably be the next game that he plays after this. But they also get Cam Reddish, who's completely out of the Knicks rotation.
Yeah. Interestingly enough.
And they get a first-round pick as well. So you get pick. You get
A valuable pick at that.
Yeah.
In New York. That
Yeah.
could be the top 20 pick.
Absolutely. It could be.
Probably will be.
It could be a lottery pick.
Yeah.
You could. I mean, because it's 2020. I guess it's this year's. So the Knicks, I think, are decent enough this year that they should be fine. But the Knicks get Josh Hart.
Mhm.
I think it's a huge pickup for the Knicks. I think it's a good pickup for the Blazers, but you are giving up a lot. Josh Hart did a lot for this Blazers team.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Josh Hart. I really wanted him to get traded to the Cavs on deadline day. But seeing him at the Knicks, I mean, he's a player any team could use at any time. Literally anyone.
He plays really good defense and he rebounds phenomenally.
He's an amazing. Was he averaging 8 this year?
He's averaging like 8 rebounds as
Yeah.
like a 6'7"
Yeah.
guard. I mean, 4-pound small forward guard, whatever. But 6'7" is averaging 8 rebounds a game. That's insane.
I believe he's shooting at a decent clip too.
Yeah, he was very good for them. He went off last night. I can tell you that.
8.1 rebounds
Yeah.
per game.
he went off last night. I think he had 27 last night.
Yep.
Yeah, 27, and he was lights out from 3.
Brooklyn.
So I think that's a great pickup for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I do think that this is I want to touch on the Knicks a little bit. I think Tom Thibodeau should be fired like now. And I said that in the offseason, and then he's done nothing but prove my point this year. When you have teams that are like trying to contend right now, like the Blazers, right, that are willing to give up pieces to get somebody that you don't even have in your rotation, should directly
it's really
show
telling.
the Knicks front office, hey, look, your coach is terrible. Like, you're willing to give up a starter to get Matisse Thybulle and Cam Reddish in the first rounder. And Cam Reddish started for him first game there. Like, I don't understand that at all. I think Thibodeau sucks. These guys like Evan Fournier, he had guys like Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish on his bench not playing a minute, and it's like, come on now.
He's known for running his starters into the dirt. I remember he did it to Jimmy Butler when he was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just played 35 minutes a game for 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah, there's several times the Knicks on a back-to-back, and in the second half of the second game, they're pathetic because Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson both played 41 minutes
They got a
the day
2-minute
before.
break right before halftime. And that was it.
Yeah. But overall, I would say the Blazers win this trade. The Knicks win this trade.
The Sixers win this trade, in my opinion.
Everybody steals from the Hornets here.
Yep.
Hornets get D-. Sixers, I don't like giving up Thybulle a ton, but I think McDaniels is better.
Yeah.
I would say Sixers are probably sitting in a B range. I would give the Blazers, I'd probably give the Blazers around the B range as well. Knicks, I'm giving them an A-.
Yeah, I agree.
You gave up somebody that basically nothing for this year and a first-round pick. You basically gave up a first-round pick for Josh Hart.
And that's okay. That's honestly okay.
If you get Josh Hart's production out of a first-round pick that's not a top 10 pick, that's a win.
Yeah.
If you were drafting 18th overall and he does this for you, you'd be like, sick, let's go.
Exactly.
So I think Knicks definitely win the trade out of everybody. Hornets got fleeced though.
That was the biggest white flag I've ever seen get waved there.
yeah, they were just like, let's screw it.
Yeah, LaMelo's out. Where?
Okay, so we got a little bit less interesting one here. We start off with 2 heaters there. A little bit less interesting here. Clippers get Eric Gordon and 3 future second-rounders. Doesn't say what year. The Rockets get John Wall, Danny Green, and then a protected pick swap from the Clippers. and then the Grizzlies get Luke Kennard. So the Clippers give up some valuable shooting in Luke Kennard. They get back some valuable shooting in Eric Gordon. And then the Rockets pretty much
Another white flag.
another red flag. I mean, Eric Gordon doesn't fit their rebuild at all. He's old. He's old enough that he's too old for your Jalen Green and your Jabari Smith. So like, I understand moving him.
And then they actually released Danny Green.
Yeah, and
He's a Cavalier now.
yes, that's right. That's right. They released Danny Green, and there was talks that they're going to buy John Wall out as well. I hope they do, because he was on a
I'd love to
podcast
see him
about
play.
he was on a podcast about a month ago talking about his time in Houston. He said it was miserable.
I mean, we saw his quotes about just not liking the situation there, and just to see him get traded back is kind of.
And how can you not want the best for John Wall? Like, dude was an elite player.
He's my favorite basketball player of all time.
He ruptured his Achilles bad. Probably the worst Achilles I've seen. I think KD's was not
2.5,
near as bad.
3 years.
Yeah,
That wasn't the same.
no, not even close. But okay, so I think that the Grizzlies win this trade a little bit. Not a little bit. I would say the Grizzlies, looking at this,
Luke Kennard's the best player in this trade, in my opinion.
I would say between him and Eric Gordon, it's close. But you didn't give up Eric Gordon. You gave up Danny Green, who really wasn't. You didn't play for him at all because he wasn't healthy. Once he came back, he was But like, you're giving up somebody that just shoots Danny Green to get somebody that shoots better than Danny Green. I mean, Luke Kennard's like 46% for 3-point shooter. I mean, he's elite.
Lights out.
Yeah. So I think that's a win for the Grizzlies, especially when you have somebody like John Morant that draws so much attention. It's very good to have.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see him on the wings there.
Yeah, I agree. How do you rate this from the Clippers' perspective, though?
I mean, as I said, I think Luke Kennard's a better player than Eric Gordon. But, I mean, second-round picks can be valuable, especially if you have a good drafting team. I don't know if the Clippers' second-round draft history is good.
Yeah.
But just getting picks in general can kind of be seen as a positive. But I'd probably say this is like a C.
Yeah.
All around.
I mean,
for them.
I think the comparison between Gordon and Kennard is close.
Yeah.
And is it worth 3 future round picks or future second-round picks? It must be. I mean, we're gonna see. Eric Gordon also is playing on a team where it's like, hey, look, you're like one of the only focal points of the offense. So when he's not, and his job is to only shoot open threes in the corner, we might see him elevate to Luke Kennard.
He could. Back to James Harden Rockets level days
Yes.
for him.
Yes. So we're gonna move past that though. I don't think that's a big one.
Yeah.
This one's not big at all. Celtics get Mike Muscala from the Thunder. That's all they got is Muscala. They gave up Justin Jackson and 2 future second-round picks. I don't even think we need to talk about that.
Let me tell you what, I thought Justin Jackson was going to be a star in this league. Watching him in the 2016 March Madness with, who was on that team? Marcus Page.
That was when Marcus
that
Page hit
team.
that insane
That
shot.
was that team. I thought Justin Jackson was going to be a star in the league.
Yeah,
But,
I thought him and Cam Johnson were very similar. Like, I actually, for a second, thought they were brothers until I realized that it was different J last name.
Yeah.
But because they look a lot alike, and they're both long guys, played at UNC, lights out from 3, athletic. But yeah, I don't think we need to really talk about this.
Yeah.
Muscala might play 12 minutes a game for the Celtics if he's lucky. I don't think
fill out that rotation.
Yeah, the
Which
Thunder.
don't really need
Thunder were looking forward to some more 8th graders to draft.
some more 8th graders.
Okay, so here's a decent trade here. Pelicans get Josh Richardson from the Spurs. Spurs get Devontae Graham and 4 second-round picks. I think this is a good get for the Pelicans. I think he provides a good 3-and-D type of guy that's consistent as well. I'm pulling up what he's got here. Yeah, I mean, he's sitting at 11.5 points per game. And is generally a decent 3-point shooter. I don't think this is really they gave up anything. Devontae Graham didn't really do anything for their team, and 4 second-round picks.
He's getting pushed out of the lineup.
Yeah, is really not that good. This year he's shooting 35% from 3, so definitely not an elite level. But you look back at by 21-22, he was shooting 44% from 3. Josh Richardson was. So you're looking at somebody that could shoot the 3 really well.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a good get for him.
And like Eric Gordon, I mean, getting plugged into a better team with more weapons like the Pelicans with Ingram and Zion and CJ McCollum, it's going to open up space for open threes for him.
Right, yeah, he was just with the pathetic Spurs where he might actually get focused on by the defense.
He's had a really up and down kind of wild career, I think, because he had a really good season with the Heat a handful of years ago, and then he went to the Sixers, and I don't think they liked him too much there.
No.
And then he's at the Spurs, which is kind of just irrelevant.
Yeah.
And now he gets a chance to shine at the Pelicans, which I'm kind of excited about because I'm a fan of the Pelicans this year.
Yeah,
They're a fun team to watch.
It's fun when Zion's healthy, but
Yeah.
he has not been healthy at all. They just came out and said he's going to be out for past the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult.
And
But
let Markkanen be a starter though.
yeah,
The All-Star game.
yeah. So I don't think that's huge. Spurs, whatever, they're clearly just loading on draft capital. Pelicans get a good 3-and-D guy, good plug-in guy. I think that's a good get. Also, a little bit of a veteran, like a guy that's seen a lot of things. He's seen a lot of
Been out
teams.
for a while.
He can provide some leadership in that young locker room for sure. But here we go to the 4-team trade that was just out of nowhere.
Talk about the Pistons.
Let's talk about my Pistons. My Pistons get James Wiseman, who I'm going to be completely honest. I know a lot of Pistons fans are pretty pissed off about this because I guess I'll go through this real quick. Pistons get James Wiseman. The Warriors get Gary Payton II, GP2, again. And they got 3 second-round picks from Atlanta. The Hawks get Sadiq Bey. The Blazers get Kevin Knox and 5 future second-round picks. So the Pistons get James Wiseman. I actually like it. You're giving up Sadiq Bey, who really is not. Like, if you weren't going to move Bogdanovich, he's just a better Sadiq Bey. So I understand he's not young, but you're getting somebody that. Let's not forget how good James Wiseman was in college.
He is a talented person.
Like, when he played his 3 games in college and when he was healthy, like, he was elite. There's a reason he was drafted 2nd overall.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't shown that in the NBA yet, but if you put him on a team where he has a role, he might.
And a team with little to no stress as well.
Yes.
With the Pistons, they don't have expectations to win every game. On the Warriors, you're expected to win everything.
If you make a bad play that loses the
Yep.
game, it's a lot more televised than if you do that with the Pistons. They're like, oh well, Pistons suck anyway, which we don't. We're winning the title next year, but Cade Cunningham will win MVP next year. But so the Warriors get GP2 back. I think this is a great get for them. Great get. He was very valuable over the course of their title run last year.
He's been hurt this year though.
He has been hurt this year. They almost didn't go through because of that.
Oh, I saw that. The Trailblazers lied on the paperwork.
He failed his physical.
That's what it was.
And so then apparently they said that the Trailblazers were pushing him to play through an injury. His agent denied that. He ended up passing a physical. They gave him like a 48-hour deadline. It might not even been that long. It might have been 36. Gave like a 36 to 48-hour deadline, and he did end up passing his physical. So it went through, but it was in jeopardy for a little bit. But I think this is a great get for the Warriors. You gave up really nothing. You gave up somebody that wasn't in your rotation at all, and you're getting a guy right back.
An athletic defender who knows the team, knows the style of play, has a title with your team,
and fits everything perfectly. So the Hawks give up 3 future second-round picks, and then it doesn't say how many of the 5 that the Blazers got are from the Hawks.
At least probably 3.
At least a couple, but you get Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Especially when you have somebody, 2 ball-dominant guards. He doesn't want the ball at all. All he wants to do is shoot threes.
He'll fit right in.
It's perfect. I think everybody kind of wins this trade. The Blazers, I really don't understand it, but you gave up somebody that's been really injured for you. You get Kevin Knox, who, again...
Another player who looked talented in college, looked talented coming out of the league, but...
has done nothing.
He was on the Knicks. That might have been the start of the problem.
Yeah, he played on a Thibodeau then. His career's been terrible since.
Thibodeau ran Knicks.
Yeah, but then you get 5 future second-round picks again, so
Can't go wrong with 5.
I guess so. So I think this is kind of just a mid-trade. Everybody...
Bees all around.
Yeah, everybody won it. Everybody lost it in some sense. I don't think there's really
Nothing
much...
to swing the totem pole there.
No, I don't think so either. So we have 2, going down. We're going to, talk about everything one. There's a couple of these ones that really aren't worth anything. The Suns get Darius Bazley, role player at best, right?
Young still, though.
Yep.
Potential.
Is young and potential to step into a bigger role, but...
Has the right people to lead him now, too.
Yep, absolutely. The Thunder get Dario Saric, a 2029 second-round pick, and then some cash considerations.
One of my favorite players ever, cash consideration. Gotta say.
He's
everything. He's everywhere.
I don't think this is worth anything.
No.
The Hawks then get the different trade here. We have the Hawks getting Bruno Fernando, not Bruno Fernandez. Those of you guys that watch soccer.
He's not that good either.
Yeah, that's a different guy. Bruno Fernando and Garrison Matthews. And then the Rockets receive Justin Holiday and Frank Kaminsky, Frank the Tank, and then two second-round picks.
Wisconsin legend, if I believe.
Yeah, he was spectacular in Wisconsin. I don't think this is really anything either. The Rockets
Wasn't too much.
get 2 more picks, cool, but I don't think you really give up anything. You're giving up 2 guys that are at best role players, and you're getting 2 guys that are at best role players. So
I don't think this makes the Hawks better. I don't really think. I mean, obviously the Rockets aren't trying to get better, but I don't think this makes the Hawks that better.
I don't think either team really benefits from that. Maybe there's some salary stuff where you're paying Bruno Fernando less than you're paying Holiday, but I don't think there's anything in that. I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about the bigger ones.
Talk about this one.
This is an interesting one. So a 4-team trade between the Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, and the Magic. The Nuggets get Thomas Bryant. Very good backup big guy.
Big fan of him.
The Lakers get Mo Bamba, Devon Reed, and a second-round pick. Mo Bamba's very good. The Clippers get Bones Highland.
A phenomenal talent.
A true microwave.
Yeah.
If one goes in, he thinks he's feeling it. The Magic get Pat Bev, who they then bought out.
Yep.
And then a 2024 second-round pick. I will say this. I don't understand this at all from the Magic's perspective.
At all.
You traded for somebody that you bought out. You gave up Mo Bamba for a second-round pick.
A player who I can't believe they gave up on him already. If you consider that giving up, but
I mean, he has a lot of intangibles. You can't teach length, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't teach height. You can't teach wingspan. You can't teach ball hawking ability. And he has all of that. He just hasn't really put it together yet. But he's also young. I don't know his age off the top of my head, but we're gonna pull it up real quick. But he's young, and he's 24 years old.
24 still.
And your entire roster's young. You're not in a position where you need to win.
He fit
now.
the scheme and just changed their mind on it.
I don't understand that at all. Clippers, huge win from this.
It's great. It's a great pickup.
This is a huge win. They basically gave nothing. I'm looking at this.
Second rounders, cash considerations.
Yep, second round and cash considerations for Bones Island.
Yep.
That is an elite trade for them. I
think Bones also wanted out of Denver, so I think that kind of helped push this trade into fruition. But
I do think that this trade kind of sparked the Reggie Jackson one. Yeah. I can't remember if this was before or after it, but if it was before it, I think that sparked it. If it was after it, I think this was their replacement. Either way, I think Bones Highland is your Reggie Jackson replacement. Yep. He's a creator off the bench. He can hit threes. He can heat up. He can handle the ball, control the pace of the game. Perfect guy off the bench. Yep. Lakers give up Thomas Bryant right after he called for the ball instead of letting LeBron break the record. Yeah. He was open.
That's admirable.
He was open.
He had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander backed up in the post under the hoop.
Yeah.
And LeBron didn't give him the ball. Shame on LeBron.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they needed to pass it to Thomas Bryant. Let him cook.
Let him cook. He is going to look good again on the Nuggets, though.
I think so, too.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Jokic having another big man next to him. I think that's when the Nuggets are playing at their best. And, I mean, he's good. Thomas Bryant is, I think, really talented on offense, more so than defense.
Yes.
And, I think having open looks from Jokic doing
at
all times is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful basketball.
I don't know how much they'll play together. I'm kind of interested to see because they're both very true centers.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, if Jokic plays 34 minutes, Bryant's playing all 14 minutes that he's not in, and he's a very good, sustainable big to have in as your backup. Mm-hmm. If you're putting him against a lot of backup bigs in the league, I'm taking Thomas Bryant every time.
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of interesting. Lakers give up Pat Bev and get Mo Bamba.
Like we were saying, just a young player with unlimited potential due to his height and defensive versatility.
Yeah, and he's probably going to learn a lot of discipline and stuff from AD. Mm-hmm. I think AD is going to teach him a lot of defensive responsibility, defensive discipline, and he's going to coach him up a lot.
And AD gets to continue not playing center, like he loves.
Yes, absolutely. So I think this is a good trade for both LA teams and the Nuggets. The Magic get fleeced.
Wild.
But all 3 other teams win this. I think the Clippers, I'm giving them an A+.
Absolutely.
The Lakers, I'm going to give them probably a B.
I'm comfortable with a B.
And then I'm going to say the Nuggets probably get a B+ out of it.
It'd be lower if Bones didn't want out.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
Bones is a big piece to give up.
He is,
in my
but
opinion.
if you're looking at a championship level team,
Yeah.
you cannot have anything toxic in the
Yeah,
locker
no.
room. Your locker room has
But
to
like if
mesh.
Josh Hart's getting a first round pick, I mean, what does Bones Highland get?
Yeah, that's true. So here we get one big one, and then we have one basically medium. Let's go to the medium one first. We'll end on the big one. So here, this was the Reggie Jackson trade was after
Yep.
the Bones Highland trade. So I think that kind of sparked it. But here it is. The Clippers receive Mason Plumlee. The Hornets receive Reggie Jackson and a 2028 second round pick. Super simple. There's no cash considerations. No names
He's not involved
no
this
names
time.
we can't pronounce. Nobody we haven't heard of.
It's 1 for 1.
1 for 1 in a pick.
But if I remember seeing right, they released Reggie Jackson.
I believe so. I believe they
Just
did.
confirm that. Oh, he's actually looking to go back. He's going to Nuggets potentially.
Really?
2 days ago.
Yeah, he did. He signed with the Nuggets already. Wow,
Yes.
we are
Oh,
completely out of the loop.
well, that changes the last trade we talked about because
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson instead of going to the Hornets.
Yeah,
Interesting.
you basically
Yeah.
get so from the Nuggets perspective, you give up
Bones.
Highland and
Reggie.
you get Reggie
And
Jackson
Thomas Bryant.
and Thomas Bryant. I think that's a win. I would rather have Reggie
Yeah.
Jackson over Bones Highland probably.
Reggie Jackson is.
I think, especially to win a title, I
Mhm.
think he's a lot more seasoned. Like, who would I trust in a game 7 to like slow the game down when it's like
Really
early,
comfortable.
when it's early fourth quarter and Jamal Murray's not back in yet?
Yeah.
Who do I want to slow the game down, control the pace, and get a good shot off? I would trust Reggie Jackson way more than Bones Highland. Bones Highland would like chuck up half court because he's open, and
It might go in, but
it might go in, but
might not.
Yeah, it
You know.
probably won't.
Probably won't.
But if it does go in, he's shooting at least
Yeah.
3 more because he's feeling it, coach.
Plumlee, a good backup center.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, a starting center.
yeah,
on a different team.
Yeah, on a different team, but perfect secondary center to have
Yeah.
with Zubats there. Zubats is a great center, but Plumlee's a perfect one to have
Yeah.
on the bench.
Does his job.
The Clippers made big moves here. The Nuggets made big moves in like non-stars. Obviously, like the Suns made huge
Yeah.
moves. Like that's but if you're
Adding
looking at
pieces around your star.
yeah,
That's
like
what
you
these teams do.
looking at winners from this trade deadline, which we're going to get into here in a second. But we do have, I lied, we have 2 more trades here. Both
Two
of
big
them,
ones.
Both of them are pretty big. The Raptors add Jakob Poeltl.
Pirtle.
They add Jakob Poeltl. They get Kem Birch. You ever heard of that guy?
Nope.
Yep, that's and then
Cool.
a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. So the Raptors basically give up a first-round pick, 2 second-round picks for Jakob Poeltl. Huge W for the Raptors.
Unprotected first round though, and I'm not too sure how good the Raptors are and continue to be, but I mean you can't get worse adding Pirtle.
No, you can't. He was like him and Keldon Johnson were really 2 of their only bright spots from
Yeah.
that Spurs team.
Mhm.
Maybe Josh Richardson. I know we talked about him
Occasionally.
earlier, but like really Jakob Poeltl and Keldon Johnson really only
He
2
really got
bright
the chance
spots.
to establish himself as a consistent player.
Yeah,
I guess those are the words I'm looking for.
Yeah, like a consistent
Yeah.
contributor at the center
Yeah.
position.
Like-
Someone that like is going to
Someone you can
compete.
trust
Yeah,
in the
someone that's
NBA.
always going to compete
Yeah.
at the center position down low. I think this is really good for the Raptors. I'm going to give the Raptors like A. I could go A plus, but I think that like
A first round's kind
a
of
first round is kind of big. Spurs. I think the Spurs win the trade as well. I think I'd give the Spurs.
getting another first round.
Yep,
Like
I would
fine.
probably give the Spurs probably a B minus, maybe a B. You do give up your best, like a top 2 player on your team, but
They don't want him. They want Victor Wembanyama.
yeah,
The race for Wemby is on.
yeah, it is. Okay, so that trade we're done with. Here's a big one: Lakers, Timberwolves, Jazz. Lakers get D'Lo
Again.
again. They get Malik Beasley. They get Jared Vanderbilt. D'Lo is obviously the highlight in that. Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt are both very, very good role
Fantastic role players.
players, especially Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves then, in return, receive Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and then 3 second-round picks. One of those is swap.
Yep.
The Jazz receive Westbrook, Juan Toscano-Anderson, Damian Jones, and then a first-round pick in 2027 via the Lakers. Oh boy, there's a lot to break down in this. From the Lakers' perspective, you give up Westbrook, JTA, and one first-round pick, Damian Jones, a second-round pick swap, and you get back that.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
You get 3 contributors to a team that needs contributors, needs role players, needs players who can go day to day, be on the court, not ruin your team's chemistry, not ruin your team's fluidity, and I think that's what they got in these 3 players.
I agree. And you gave up Westbrook, which you're paying him an absurd amount of money.
And he wasn't having a terrible year.
No, but you can't be paying a 6th man that money. The value of Russell, you're paying him less, and I would say he's better than Westbrook.
Yeah,
like
right now.
So I think the Lakers win this trade. This is a great trade for
Lakers
them.
got off good here.
They did. I'm gonna give them like an A-. You are giving up some picks.
Yeah.
In like a 2027 first round
I've
pick.
never seen a team give up picks like the Lakers, so
No.
they just don't care.
No, they don't. Well, what we're gonna see is in 5 years they're gonna be pathetic.
Yep.
Like absolutely
Again.
pathetic. Like you look at the young players on their team that they have. Who? Yeah, like AD maybe.
D'Lo's one of the.
But AD's old. Like AD's not young.
He's like 28 now.
D'Lo is not young. He's probably about the same age.
Yeah.
And so it's like you look in 5 years when you have a 33-year-old, D'Lo and a 33-year-old Davis with no picks.
They'll have to pull something out of their ass to
They
get draft picks.
they are
Get
going.
stock
They are going to have to, or you're going to have to give up a 45 first round pick to
Those
get.
kids aren't even born yet.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
talking about them.
They're trying to draft LeBron's grandkid.
Mark it down.
Mark-
Timberwolves, though, I am actually a really, really, really big fan of the Timberwolves in this trade.
It's
For one big reason. D'Lo was taking shots from Ant. Mike Conley will not.
and Mike Conley will coach Ant up.
Mike Conley will coach. He's a great PNR player. And he will free space for Ant, which I think is the most important thing in the Timberwolves' progress because, in my opinion, he is their most important player right now.
I think the most important thing in in their team's progress is getting rid of Rudy Gobert.
That too.
If they could reverse that trade, if they could
They'd be
reverse
looking
that
great.
trade, they'd be wonderful. But they
Just all spotlights on Ant, and you're doing good.
Ant's elite. He is elite, and you should have him. He should be shooting the ball 20 to 25 times a game.
And without D'Lo, he can do that
Yeah.
comfortably now.
Yes, absolutely.
Which will be good for them.
The Jazz lose this trade big time. But at the same time,
They weren't looking to win it.
nope.
in
So
that
you
way.
can give up some cap space that you have.
They got an unprotected first rounder, which is from
Yep.
the Lakers, which could be a really
It could be.
it could be a valuable pick.
So they lose it now, I'd say. But in the future, they could end
Yeah.
up winning it. They gave up basically 2 second-round picks for a first-round pick because Westbrook's probably going to be gone after this year. JTA and Damian Jones are contributing next to nothing for your team.
Yeah, they'll help run the team while you don't want to win.
Yeah, they're a perfect team if you want to tank. Perfect guys to add to your team if you want to tank.
They're so good at tanking; they're actually kind of good this year.
Yeah, they were highly sought after in the trade deadline.
Yeah.
We're looking for a small forward that's going to really lower our quality of our team.
Let's turn him into an all-star.
Yeah.
Starter.
So that's the final trade here.
Yep.
So going through all of these here, pick one winner other than the Suns. Don't say the Suns because obviously, and then one loser from this.
Okay. Biggest winner, in my opinion. Let's take a look. I'm a big fan of the Sixers. I
know.
think Jaden McDaniel's going to be a really good player for them.
Yeah, I know. I just dropped that bombshell on you to pick a winner.
No, you're good.
I've been thinking of mine, so I'll give you mine.
I'll scan it.
Mine are the Nuggets.
Nuggets?
Mine are the Nuggets. You
like
give
that.
up Bones Highland, a guy that's been a little. I'm not gonna say he's been toxic, but it's a catalyst that could become toxic. Like he could become toxic if you're staying at somewhere that you don't want to be. It could become toxic. Then you get Thomas Bryant and Reggie Jackson. I think that's a huge win. You get 2 very, very key role players, and you give up 1. I think that's a huge win for them.
All right, I got my winner.
Okay.
The Clippers.
Okay.
Bones Highland, Mason Plumlee, Eric Gordon. 3 very serviceable players for a team looking to win a chip this year.
Yep.
I think that's a win.
And you give up basically Reggie Jackson,
They gave up Reggie Jackson, a lot of second rounders,
and Luke Kennard.
and Luke Kennard, who's a big loss, but
I do think
they got
that
three good players.
I do think the point we made earlier about Eric Gordon seeing a lot more open shots is going to be very valuable. Like, I think we're going to see that
Because he's known to knock them down too. Over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a question of if he will when they're open.
And-
It's now he will.
And you don't just become a worse shooter.
Yeah.
Like, you become less athletic as you get older. You become less explosive. You don't just become a worse shooter. Like, when he was hitting at an elite clip with Harden there, it's because Harden drew so much attention. When you put him in an offense that's going to have a ton of attention elsewhere, I do think so.
If Kawhi's healthy this postseason, consider them up there.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, we've seen him be healthy. We've seen, him and PG be healthy, for a couple games, a couple streaks, and they've been very good when they've been healthy. But picking out a loser here, kind of scrolling through here, I think the Trailblazers lose. I don't think they really get anything out of this, and they gave up picks. So they get picks, but you give up, like GP2, right? You give up, where's he at? You give up Josh Hart and GP2, and you get Cam Reddish and Matisse Thybulle. You get a first round pick, sure, that could be good, but I really don't like. You need to do everything you can to let Dame win now because he's given you his career in a Hall of Fame career that should be unquestionably a Hall of Fame, but it might be questionable because you guys haven't done anything for him. Yeah. I think the Trailblazers lose though. I don't want to replace Josh Hart with Matisse Thybulle. I think that's a loss, and I think that replacing GP2 with Cam Reddish is a loss.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 2 losses and then a first round pick. I mean, I guess, but it's a
Not
2020
the best way to see Dame out.
right, and it's this year's first round pick from the Knicks, which by the way is not going to be a lottery pick.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be a top 7 seed in the East.
Probably right around 20
Yeah. So I mean, for a 20th overall pick,
in this draft.
yeah, that's questionable. What if you could pick a loser?
Okay.
Who are you going to choose?
I'm gonna collectively pick all of the people that waved a white flag, just because what they're doing is literally losing every game.
Yeah.
Every time you watch them play, you want to scoop your eyeballs out with an ice cream scooper.
Yeah.
And that is the Hornets, that is the Jazz, and that is
The Magic.
The Magic.
Yeah, Magic just.
Both just told Wembanyama will do anything to get you, and in my opinion, neither 3 are going to end up getting him.
Well, Pistons are going to end up getting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping so.
So what they just did was fight for Scoot Henderson.
Yeah.
Which is still good, but
Scoot Henderson would be the first overall pick in any draft in the last 5 years. That's
a
not this
talent.
year.
I would like to see him in college.
Yeah, I would have too. Him and Wembanyama would have been fun, but I don't know. The G League's becoming more and more popular, but this is what we had. So kind of, if you followed the trade deadline super closely, this was probably extremely boring to watch. Like, thank you for still being here. If you didn't follow it, this is probably exactly what you needed. Let you know who's on new teams. So when you just see Kevin Durant in 2 weeks with the Suns, I'm sure you heard about that one. But I saw a thing that said, I know we're wrapping up here, but it said, what if teams didn't tell us about off-season trades and stuff, and you just saw like LeBron James walking out on the first day or first game for the Heat
As a Heat.
as a player for the Miami Heat and
Chris Bosh.
Yeah, and Chris Bosh, and you're just going nuts.
Yeah, you're
Like,
as a Heat fan, you're
Yeah.
just sitting there.
I saw one that said it was Aaron Rodgers walking out of the stadium next year looking for Devontae Adams, and this dude's looking everywhere for it. But that would be kind of funny.
Fun Twitter trend.
Yeah, it would be. But so that's kind of what we had here. So this is an NBA episode. We got a ton more coming because it is the perfect time for basketball. You got March Madness coming. We got NBA, the end of the NBA regular season coming up.
Can't be getting sick of basketball right now.
No, yeah. If you're getting sick of basketball right now,
Go to a hospital and get cured.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot.
and it's the good stuff too.
Yeah.
Conference tournaments coming out for basketball. Conference tournament weeks are
So fun.
the 2 best weeks. 2 of the top 3 weeks. The first one's got to be the first weekend March.
I'll have 4 TVs set up in my living room for about 2 months.
Yeah. But this has been, good episode talking about NBA trade deadline.
Sure.
Any closing comments, or is that all we got?
I'm just really scared of the Suns now. I'll say that much because I don't want them to win a title, and I think they might.
I think they might might too. I think Chris Paul might finally get his ring, which he does deserve one, but
it's fun to see him not win a ring just because of the jokes that you get to see on Twitter.
Right. I'd rather have him getting the jokes than Melo because I like Melo more. So like I don't want to see now like Chuck. Give it all to Chuck. Charles Barkley.
Pure comedy.
Yeah, that is always hilarious. But I think that's all we got for today. So this was the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.